So the first thing we're going to be looking at the revenge killing. So I think it's Rodney Hinton Jr. So little basics of the facts before we jump right into the video. Rodney Hinton Jr. son was killed by a cop. And what happened, I think the same day or a day afterwards, he ends up hitting and running into a cop with his car, and the cop that he hit had nothing to do with it. But let's get right into it, to the video. Remember, like and subscribe, and let's just review the world together, y'all. But let's jump right into it.
The father of a teen fatally shot by Cincinnati police Thursday, now behind bars after investigators say he killed a deputy from another department the next.
There is a connection between these two incidents.
38-year.
Now y'all heard that, right? He killed an officer in wholly another department than the one that had anything to do with his son.
Year-old Rodney Hinton Jr. is charged with aggravated murder. Prosecutors say he intentionally struck a recently retired Hamilton County deputy who was on traffic patrol.
I've got an officer now.
A makeshift memorial today at the intersection. The deputy, just identified by the sheriff's office as Larry Henderson, later died at the hospital.
He was so well liked and so well known.
A courtroom full of law enforcement Saturday as Hinton faced a judge. His team in court calling this an emotionally charged situation. Hinton making a hard-to-hear comment to deputies while being escorted out in handcuffs. The crash happened just hours after he joined a meeting with Cincinnati police to review body camera video of his son's death, according to the attorneys hired by the family to investigate the police shooting. The video, now publicly released from two different angles, shows 18-year-old Ryan Hinton being shot and killed Thursday morning by a city police officer.
He's got to go.
Investigators say the teen pointed a gun at Cincinnati officers responding to a call of a stolen vehicle. Hinton's family attorneys tonight writing they are heartbroken by this tragic turn of events, and we are all devastated for the family of the officer who was killed.
Shaquille Brewster joins.
Now, they said a few hours after he's seen this video. I don't understand why you would go after someone who has nothing to do with the case. I don't think you should go after someone, period. I think you should let the police handle it, do their investigation, however you feel about the police. But hurting someone or killing someone who has nothing to do with your son's death, who was just trying to do his job, a retired police officer, just trying to do traffic duty, ends up dying because you couldn't handle your own emotions. Now, I understand it's very emotionally charged. You just seen your son killed on a police cam, and I can understand it being very hard to deal with. But I do not understand and do not agree with someone just going out and first cop you see, you just immediately attack them. No, we are grown men, and we need to handle our emotions at least appropriately. Like, it's always somewhere you lash out at the person associated with the actual crime, but lashing out at someone who had nothing to do with just trying to mind their business and doing their job is insane to me.
Joins us now from Cincinnati. So, Shaq, what is next here for the man being charged?
Hallie, he's scheduled to be back in this courthouse Tuesday morning as the state requests he be held without bond. Meanwhile, you see it there. Flags on county buildings have been lowered to half staff in honor of that fallen deputy. Hallie?
Thanks for watching.
All right, there's another video that I want to show dealing with this. So it's just breaking down it a little bit more with the Houston Fox 26. So let's watch that, and then we're also going to get into some at the bond hearing. Some heated conversations happened with the public. So let's jump all into that.
Out of Ohio, a family in Ohio is dealing with the loss of a loved one, while a sheriff's office is mourning the loss of a deputy. Both sides are connected by the suspect involved. My next guest has more details. And joining us on the Factor Uncensored to talk about this case, we have Greg Dupree, former law enforcement officer with TLAC now. Greg, we know Rodney Hinton is being held without bond for aggravated murder in Cincinnati after police there said he ran over and intentionally hit and killed a deputy. This is after his son was killed by law enforcement officers only days before his son is 18-year-old Ryan Hinton, a suspect in a crime.
Now, let me say something. I understand. Well, I don't understand crashing out, but I understand getting emotional and want to do something. If your son, well, I don't know, but what the police said is that the son was carrying a gun and he pointed the gun at the officer. If that's what happened, I do not understand. Like, I understand you're upset about your son, but he was shot and killed while he was committing a crime. So at some point, you can't ruin your life. Well, yeah, you can't ruin your life trying to protect your son if your son was already, his life was already ruined. Pointing guns at officers, that's going to get you shot. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But let's keep going.
So your thoughts about this case?
It's just tragic that you have, I'm giving this guy his due process. If this guy intentionally tried to kill a law enforcement officer, it's despicable on his part. You know, no matter what his motivation was, your son lost his life while in the commission of a crime, and you decided.
What did I say? Lost his life while he was doing a crime. It's very crazy. But let's keep going.
Take revenge on law enforcement officers who wasn't even with the same department. But aside from that, the total act of this type of crime is just despicable.
And when you have someone behaving like this, and we have to say allegedly behaving like this, he was in court. He was arraigned on the charges. I think more than 30 law enforcement officers were there to see his arraignment because of
surrounded. You're surrounded by the men in blue. I can't imagine what. I don't know if all. Well, see, I don't want to say that all of them injuries was him from a car, but you don't know. But
the deputy was killed. But when you have someone behaving like this and justifying it in their minds, a life for a life, or as we know, an eye for an eye.
Yeah, y'all see he talking crazy. I don't know what he doing, but he sound like he's saying some, some crazy stuff.
Is this a dangerous precedent that we're setting as a society if we believe that?
Well, I think the precedent has already been set, Isaiah. It's this, even though it is, I guess, you don't see it covered that often. Incidents like this have taken place before, for decades. In the departments I worked in, we had officers lose their lives because someone wanted to kill a police officer. So it's not something that's new. The concern here is copycats and the frequency these incidents might occur. You can go all the way back to January 6th. In the Capitol, when they were storming the Capitol, and it was the total disrespect and violence that was perpetrated against the law enforcement officers who were just doing their job there was just as despicable. And when you talk about setting a precedent, that could have triggered a lot more people to say, well, heck, if these guys can disrespect cops, I can do the same thing. And that wall of respect that generally separates the majority of the public from law enforcement or acting like this, I believe is starting to wear thin or even come down. So it does set a precedent that can be very dangerous for law enforcement officers going forward.
For those who are wondering exactly why Rodney Hinton did this, what is his son accused of and what happened to his son that took him down this path, or so we believe?
Okay. From my understanding, his son was driving a stolen vehicle with two other individuals, and they were spotted by a fugitive unit in Cincinnati, and they attempted to pull him over.
Now, if you don't know what this we call the new age slang is for people who are doing these, it's YNs. And you probably heard me mention it before, but it's a crazy world. Let's keep going.
Over, and two officers, when they attempted to pull him over, he got out of the car and started running. Two officers gave chase. He evidently slipped and fell, and one of the officers believed he heard and saw Mr. Hinton drop a gun and then pick it up and then run and hide behind a dumpster. Well, that officer that saw it, he yelled out to his partner that the guy had a gun, and they cornered him on both sides of behind the dumpster, and the other officer shot at him 5 times, hitting him twice, once in the chest and once in the arm, and he died right there at the scene.
And of course, it's our understanding that Rodney, the father, was shown, or members of the family, including Rodney, the father, was shown the surveillance video or the body cam footage.
Body cam, right.
And saw what happened to his son. And do you think that triggered something? What? Because typically in body camera footage.
Now, what he just said, so some people are saying he pointed the gun at the officer, or like he just said that he was running, tripped, gun fell out, grabbed it, run, hides behind a dumpster. I think either way, the officer's going to try their best. If they believe a gun, he's hiding behind, he has a gun. They're telling him to get down, drop the gun. It's a bad situation all around. If you have a weapon, police are telling you to get down and you're running, hiding, I think it's logical that you would assume that you're going to get shot. I mean, it's crazy. But let's finish up this video and go on to the next one where we can see what's happening in the bond.
The family is shown more than what's provided
shown to the public. Right.
You get
correct.
to see the raw details of that video.
Right. Yeah. Well, anytime it's got to be no matter what the circumstances are, it's got to be a tragic experience for a parent to not only lose their child, but actually see their child die. And, I can understand how somebody can snap as a result of that. But even so, it doesn't justify the actions that took place after that.
Exactly. It does not justify the actions of going after, or just going after anyone in general. It does not justify the actions of especially going after a cop who had nothing to do with the whole situation. But let's move on to the next video. We're going to watch a little bit of inside the courthouse during the bond hearing. So let's jump into that and see that whole confrontation so we can get an idea of everything that was happening.
I just want my brother to see me. I just want my brother to see me.
Okay, as he just said, this is the brother of Rodney Hinton Jr. So understand he's emotional, trying to show support, but At the end of the day, if you got a problem with the shooting, I understand you might have a problem with the shooting. You're against what the cop did. I'm not going to agree or disagree, but I think it's natural to shoot the suspect. But how you feel about it is totally different than going out and hurting someone random. That's totally different. He did that. He deserves to go to jail for what he did. He killed an officer who had nothing to do with his own. He can say he's emotionally distressed, but he needs. I don't know. I think he should be in jail. That is my thinking. But let's finish up this video.
My brother can't see me. They did this shit before. They did this shit before.
That's not the way to do it.
They did it before. I got video of them messing with my brother and me.
I'm confused on what they did before. That is the same situation as him killing a random cop. I don't understand it.
I ain't do nothing. I just wanted my brother to see me. I ain't do nothing to him. He got that's my family. That's my family in that door.
Come on. Ray, please.
Like I said, this is a very emotionally charged situation. Everyone's emotions are flying. It's crazy. It's crazy. But that's that. We're going to keep following along with what's happening with Rodney Hinton. And I think it's only reasonable to me that he's going to go to jail. I don't understand. Now, there's some people who are supporting it who said, hey, got to do what we got to stand up to him. But I mean, like I said before, just in general, attacking someone out of emotion is crazy, but attacking someone who has nothing to do with the situation is even crazier. But that's it for that one. All right, everybody, remember this is AC Reviews the Word. Remember to like us,